Well, hopefully at this moment we can get some answers in regards to the fuel crisis question from Petroleum PS. Andrew Kamau, who's here with us in studio. Thanks for making time for us this evening.
Thanks for here.
I immediately want to direct you to our screens. We're going to put some pictures up right now, live images from different parts of the country, PS, because honestly, you need to look at some of these right now. And it is hard to deny that there is not a crisis, PS. Those are live images from Nakuru County, Kisii County, Nairobi County as well, and Kisumu. And the picture is pretty much the same. It's only the faces that change. Border operators in some areas, PSV operators, private motorists. It doesn't matter. They all require that precious oil this evening. And PS, that's where my first question comes in. How did we get here?
I'll tell you how we got here. If you see the way the crisis began, it began in Western Kenya. That's where you first started reporting that there was no fuel in Eldoret and in the areas towards the Uganda border. Mm-hmm. I think that's where it all started. And then there was a subsequent discussion that, you know, the private marketers, the independents had an issue with accessing money for them to buy the fuel. Now, of course, the press caught that up and said there is a fuel shortage in Kenya, and there was a reaction, and there was the start of panic buying. This is how we got to this point. What happens now?
No, not before what happens now.
No, I'm saying
why did we get to this point? I think that's what I want to understand.
Exactly, and
help me understand and help Kenyans.
And that's exactly what I'm telling you. Then there was panic buying. That's how we got to this point.
How much of this crisis can be attributed to the fact that you still owe oil marketers that fuel subsidy?
I would say about 20%.
Not 80?
Not 80%.
Deputy President William Ruto believes it is the core reason why, and it's strange that I need to ask this, but he blames people like yourself, public officials in government, for not submitting that money to the private oil marketers who would then be able to carry out the process of distribution.
You know what I always tell people? This information is all in the public domain. If you remember, in September, we submitted the use of this levy to Parliament. Again, in January, to the Committee on Energy, we submitted it again. So it is in Parliament. It's on the Hansard. It is open to any Kenyan to go and find for themselves exactly what we had done up to January. So I don't understand where this information is coming from if it's available in the public domain.
PS, help me understand this. Why do we have a fuel crisis this evening?
I'm telling you the reason why we have a fuel crisis is because there's been panic buying.
You are addressing the symptom. That is a consequence. There's a deeper issue.
I'll tell you why.
Because there have been panic attempts in the past, but it's never gotten to this, PS. Which is, I'm wondering, why this one? Why has it gone on for so long?
Wahiga, look at it like this way. Let me give you a clear fact. Mm-hmm. This weekend, the three major oil companies, Shell, Total, and Ola, sold 17 million liters. Saturday and Sunday. Yeah? 17 million liters. Do you know what they usually sell on a weekend? Less than half that. That's the first thing. The second thing, if you have a petrol station in Nairobi, and you plan for, let's say, example, your stock in the tank is for 6 days. On around day 4, you'll order your fuel so that it comes on the next day. If you have a panic buy, your 6 days stock is consumed in 6 hours. That tanker then has to go, the tanker that's going to deliver to you has at least a 5-6 hour turnaround time. That's Nairobi. So what happens? People are queuing outside your station for 6 hours while we wait for the stock. That's Nairobi. If you are in Murang'a, that's a whole day. Yeah, because that truck has to come all the way to Nairobi, load, and then go back to Murang'a. In the meantime, what's happening? Everyone is waiting outside your station. And the more the press talks about it and shows this, the more people panic. I would panic. You would panic. Because now you're thinking, if I have to wait for 2 days for fuel, I better queue up now and get what I can.
Okay, fair point, PS. But what sparked the initial panic?
The initial panic was, I think there was a communique by the independent marketer saying, listen, unless the government pays us our subsidy, we are not going to supply.
Was there any truth to that communique from where you sit as government?
I don't think so, because the government always pays 1 month late since April when we started this. So why now? I'll tell you why now. Before, crude oil prices were $90 a barrel. People could afford. The marketers have to buy the fuel in advance, yeah? Then distribute it, and then you buy on a tank-by-tank basis. During the Ukraine-Russia issue, crude oil prices went to $130. What you were buying for $90, now you have to spend $130. You have no access to bank debt, overdraft facilities to that quote. Let me put it in a way that's simpler, so that you understand what it is. The price February and March, the difference between February and March for diesel in the international price is up something like $260 per ton. That's something like what, 260,000 shillings per 1,000 liters? You have to come up with that thing, with the money to buy. Yeah? And you have to understand, these people are ordinary business people. They are not tycoons, they're not big-time business people. So they buy what they can. If they were buying 100 liters, now they can only buy 60 liters. And doesn't take them that far.
Which then begs the question,
yes,
if this has international origins, so to speak, why aren't we seeing such reports in Rwanda? Why aren't we seeing such situations in Tanzania? And I checked today. There were reports like this 2-3 months ago, but not now here. So whatever is happening in Kenya is unique to Kenya. And I'm still struggling to understand from you why this evening.
In fact, Wahiga, when we finish, I'm going to send you a clip for Angola. And you see for yourself.
Okay, and we can go back and forth.
So, no, you can't say that it's unique in the world. It is not unique in the world to Kenya. I just love the way we Kenyans feel everything is unique to us. We are not special. This is a crisis that's happening everywhere in the world. Do you remember a few months ago that the UK government hired the army to drive fuel to stations? Do you remember that? Did you see the queues in the UK? I'm sure you can't remember. But that's exactly what happened. If you look at in the US today, for the first time in their history, they're paying $5 per gallon. They've never paid $5 per gallon. If you look at, again, let's go back to the UK, the price cap on gas for heating houses was removed. The normal person in the UK has had their bill go up 60%.
Okay.
How many people can afford that?
Let me bring you back to Kenya. I need to take a break. I'll come back and we'll still talk a bit more. But let me ask you this one question. Has there been any economic sabotage on the part of oil marketers?
Well, I can't say there hasn't been, because we are currently investigating that. I can't say that there's not been any hoarding. There could be hoarding, but that is the job of the regulator, and that's what the regulator is currently looking at.
Could the threats of the sabotage or actual sabotage be the reason that we saw the panic buying in the first place?
No, I don't think so. It could be as a result of the panic buying. So now you have people who want to take advantage. They are hoarding fuel, hoping that the government would be arm-twisted into changing the fuel price this week, for example.
Okay. P.S., hang on there. I've still got a few more, but I need to take a break. And I'm seeing your questions. We haven't even gotten through some of them, but P.S. says he's still here. Let's take a